Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rewind podcast, where we go from the beginning to figure out the outcome at the end. I am joined with someone who I've followed their journey for a little while, totally passionate about their journey. I think that they are awesome. It is Jen Montgomery from ChilliBird. Jen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mum. That is so kind. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I just want to say quickly that I look up to you and your journey that you've had recently. So you're absolutely killing it. Yeah, so I'm Jen Montgomery, and I own ChilliBird, the crispy Thai chili oil company based here in Scotland. I also have a couple of little side projects going on with the Goliath Kitchen, and I am also a registered nurse. So yeah, lots of stuff going on with me.
That is so cool. I need to ask. I mean, Chili Bird is fantastic. What a name, especially when I mean, it's really taken off, like the whole like crispy chili oil and everything like that over the last couple of years. So, how did you come up with that as a brand?
So interesting and not so interesting. Obviously, in Scotland, we often call women birds, and
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of birds, particularly starling birds. They're very prosperous and they represent, good fortune and things like that. And they're always flocking about in big groups. And I think they're just the most beautiful bird. And I like the term bird as well. I think it's really endearing. I think some people don't like hearing a woman called a bird in Scotland, but I actually think it's owning it is very beautiful, and it's just such a lovely Scottish phrase. I feel anyway that we refer to women as. And obviously, the obvious thing is that it's chilies, so I just thought the two together, chili bird, it just rolls off the tongue really easily, and hopefully instantly recognizable and nothing too long or complicated for people to recognize. So yeah, so it's complicated but not complicated.
It's such a cool name. I totally love that. Like, like bird, hen, all that kind of like it is such an endearing thing.
Thanks.
I personally love it. Like, it's quite, I know it's traditionally maybe a bit, I don't know, nedy, like, oh, it's my bird, it's my bird. But I
Yeah, it's
love
my bird.
it. I think it's fine. I mean, I grew up in like, well, I'm from the East Coast. So you hear it like constantly and it's a term of endearment.
I think so. When somebody's saying that's my bird, or that bird or whatever, if I think it's just a lovely Scottish term, and I think it's endearing, and yeah, and I'm a bird, so yeah, I just went for it.
So how did you start it then? What was your like inspiration, that kind of enigma moment where you thought, oh, this is what I want to do?
So I guess like most people, millennials especially right now, I'm obsessed with condiments and chili oils and hot sauces and stuff like that. I mean, if I could have just my own fridge or cupboard just for hot sauce in the
Condiment
home,
fridge.
I would just have that. So anyway, yeah, I've used chili oils for ages, for years and years and years, and I'm always cooking and making noodle dishes and all sorts of Asian foods. And I became quite health conscious maybe about 4 years ago. I started running and started going to the gym a lot more and things. And as I was looking at condiments and what I was consuming, I was sort of seeing that actually a lot of the bigger brands of chili oils are just absolutely full of sugar. That was one of the top ingredients that's in these jars of chili oil, and highly processed salts as well as seed oils and things like that. So I also realised that there wasn't really any Thai and flavoured ones out there, and I am fortunate enough to be half Thai and half Scottish. My mum is from Thailand and my dad is Scottish, so I was sort of lacking that sort of really spicy, tangy Thai flavour that's really aromatic when I was buying chili oils. So I decided to just experiment. Quite a few years when I was home, and ended up sort of experimenting with like lemongrass and lime leaves and lots of garlic and soy sauce and things like that in my chili oils, and infusing them over time and using lots of Thai birds actually. And I started giving them out as gifts to friends in little jars, and I just loved making it. And I remember writing a little note on my phone, saying, that one day, 'cause I quite like to just make little notes and do small journaling acts and things, and, think about manifesting goals and whatnot. And I had written a little note on my phone that said, one day I'll have a little healthy condiment company called the Chili Bird for chili oils. Yeah, so that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago I had that thought. And yes, and then over the last 2 years, I found myself off work. In my old job as a nurse, I was off work for a period of time, and there was a situation happened in our family in which I decided in that moment that I wanted to be at home with my family. And from that, I was sort of like, well, what am I going to do? I've never ran a business before. my friends were like, "You should do something with that chili oil that you make all the time." And I was like, "Who's gonna care about that?" So I've just sort of figured it out and spoke to other hot sauce producers and started giving it out a bit more. Yeah, and I just went for it. I started looking at labeling and how to do things properly. And I just got in touch with like Fife Business Gateway and things over here in Fife, and they helped me sort of just give me that leaping pad to jump off from. And so yeah, and then I figured out building a website and things. It was all very like janky and really not very like smooth or sleek or anything. And yeah, so I ended up selling. I had an online batch drop, what I called it. I spent ages making this, just a tiny batch. I think it was less than 100, and they sold out in like 24 hours, and I just couldn't believe it. And next thing, restaurants have been getting in touch with me, and my friend, who's now one of my really good friends, Rob Caston from the King of Feasts, he had reached out and was like, let's get that stuff on our special over Christmas. And I was like, no way. I literally couldn't believe my luck. And couple of local restaurants over here in Fife as well, and it just grew and grew from there. And I think what was important was that it was all very home style, home, you know, homegrown from the roots up. And I've sort of tried to stick with that theme this whole time. So yeah.
Brilliant. That's amazing. I love how that's amazing. And I suppose as well, like you obviously have that tie to, your own heritage and your own history. The one thing that I love asking people when whether it's like a service-based business or like a product-based business, when you get that first sale, like when it's whether it's a sale or whether it's, somebody signing up for a service or whatever. But when you get that first sale, what is that feeling like of like, no, it's not just my friends and family that love this. This is other people that love this.
Yeah, oh gosh. Reflecting back now, I haven't thought about that for a long time because I still get that high every time. And at that point as well, it there was a lot of people just trusting in my marketing and saying that this is great, like you're gonna love it. It's healthier. It's what you're already kind of getting, but it's Thai. It's really spicy. It's really tasty, and it's healthier. And you're not going to be feeling guilty when you're eating it. And they had to, they had to really trust in me that I was able to really deliver. And then getting the feedback afterwards was just huge. It's monumentous. I couldn't believe that people were enjoying it as much as they were and enjoying Thai flavors in Scotland. And that's all I really want to see. That's what I just really want to see, people enjoying what I've eaten my whole life in their own home and experiencing other cultures. Getting to be part of hopefully seeing that emerge a bit more in Scotland is just so important to me, and it means everything. And I honestly thank my lucky stars every day that that's a situation that I get to be in. And yeah, the feeling of knowing that you're bringing people joy through food and that they are enjoying it that much, is that they're willing to pay with their own personal money, that they're hard earned cash for something that you've made. It's really special for sure. It's overwhelming. It does. It makes you emotional for sure.
That is amazing. I mean, I don't know, not huge in the sort of Scotland food scene. Glasgow maybe a little bit, but we have so many fantastic cuisines and all around Scotland. I don't feel like we're just one cuisine. It's not just one sort of heritage. I think that's the thing that I love personally about Scotland is it's so general, it's so mixed, there's nothing that's, one overriding, sort of flavour. And I mean, I think, is it not like one of the UK's most popular curries or something was invented in Glasgow, and
Yeah,
it's not even
yeah,
authentic
yeah.
Indian. So for that, I mean, to be a part of that and be a part of that sort of history, that must feel amazing.
It really does, and I do have like crazy imposter syndrome. I think we all do. I bet you have
Uh,
that sometimes, Wally, as
oh yeah.
well. It's so real, isn't it? But yeah, I still am like in complete shock if someone tells me, that like they can't eat anything without ChilliBird on it now, or they can't wait for the batch drop to come out, or that I've helped introduce them to a bit of, Thai cuisine or Asian cooking in their home. Yeah, it means everything. It seems like not very much, but knowing that you're just having that little impact is huge for me. Yeah, for sure.
It's more than just, for me, I think it's more than just a jar, isn't it? It's represents so much more for you, for like a whole community as well of people, and like that. I don't know about you, but I can't eat anything without hot sauce.
Yeah.
Can't do anything without hot sauce. I'm just typical millennial, like you said, it's
Yeah.
like classic thing. So, being able to be open to not just like, your standard brand and then looking at, looking forward and looking at kind of indie brands like, like yourself and then having to see that kind of grow, I think that's so cool. It must be cool. What was like with every brand and every kind of growth thing happens, you always have moments where you're sitting there, like you're saying imposter syndrome, and you're sitting there going, am I doing this? Can I actually do this? Am I good enough? Is my brand good enough? What was a moment like that for you?
I'm probably having one of those moments right now. I'm in a phase at the moment where I'm sort of thinking, so I've just taken over a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, and I'll
Oh,
be hoping to expand the brand, but also venturing into other projects at the same time, all to do with like Thai fusion foods. So, and looking at other business ideas and make that the sort of foundational place where everything's going to just stem from and hopefully grow. But yeah, I've had many a moment over the last few years, many disasters, many major financial losses, and that's all real stuff. I don't think that you really see anybody talking about the real side of things, and I don't really think you often see what people really look like, what they really sound like, what they really act like, what they're actually doing. There's everything's very glossy and high profile these days. Everyone's getting ads straight away, and you're paying content creators to sort of run everything for you, and that all just looks amazing. But we're all got deep struggles, and I think that people resonate with all of those, especially in business. When you've got business and it's yours and it's homegrown with your own idea, it's like a second child. I mean, I already have one kid, and she's the most important thing in the world. This is definitely the second kid of mine, and you have to nurture it and raise it, and things can go wrong all the time. And at any given moment, you're not in the safety of a secure, job like I was as a nurse. Every day you sort of think, right, okay, how am I going to make this better and sustain it and not get bogged down and dwell on any sort of problems that you've had. Because my very good friend Carla said to me when I was having a small freak out at the weekend there after a disaster, she said, well, failure's not an option, so what are you going to do about it?
It's so funny because they always give you the most harsh, bracing advice, and if it
Yeah.
came from anybody else, you'd be like, "Fuck you,"
Yeah,
But when they're your
totally.
best friend, you're like, "All right, okay, I needed that. I really needed
Yeah,
that."
yeah,
Like,
I totally needed that, and I
she's
have so
right.
many like great friends that'll say some things like that to me as well. Like my best friend Laurie, she's always keeping me on like even keel, and we're always like grounding one another. And yeah, she's sort of like always making me feel like, okay, let's take a step back, calm down. So she's like my soft friend that drives me forward, and Carla's always like, right, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this?
She's not wrong because failure is not an option. We just have to. I think again for anybody that does know any sort of history with me and with everything with this, failure isn't an option. You have to keep going. Once you've put pen to paper, boots on the ground, even you just have to keep going. Because what's going to happen? Like, what is the worst that's ever going to happen? Like, you fail, okay, great, get back up and try again. And
Yeah, it resonates with everything. I feel like as a person living in this time right now, like everything is so terrifying all the time. We never know what's going to happen, and it's just going to be too easy to sort of let yourself sit in that space when actually you can only focus on what you're doing right now. That's the only change that you can make. It's the only positive part that you can control. You can't control what's going on with everyone else out there and listening to other people's opinions. I always say this to my friends and everybody else I know that, I don't listen to the opinions of people I don't respect. And it's true, you're like, you have to look at people and see where you're getting your information from, and if that's going to serve you or not. Like, does it bring you purpose, and does it give you any power? Does it give you any profits? Does it give you any health and happiness? And if it doesn't, then it's maybe not for you. Like, it's okay to pass on those things, because those things can seep into your business as well. Other people's opinions,
mm,
especially, and what they think that you should be doing, and you can unfortunately find failure through doing those things where actually you were already on a good path
Mhm,
if you just kept going.
mhm.
You never know, think things could have worked out. So yeah, it's important to block out, for me anyway, a lot of noise that goes on around me. But 99.9%, I have huge support. People that are constantly telling me that I'm doing the right thing. I'm able to do this as well. That's what I often like to hear, and I often find that it's really important for me anyway, just to know that everyone's going to be okay. That's it. I don't
Mhm.
need to know that I'm going to be a millionaire. I just need to know that everyone and everything around me is going to be okay. So that's all that really matters to me.
That's do you know, you're so right on it because how many times have we thought I totally loved that when you said there about, I wouldn't take anybody's advice from someone that I don't respect. Like, why do we do that? Like, we're so like is that a people pleasing type thing? Is that the thing that we're always trying to do? I don't know if it's maybe a millennial thing that we're always just trying to keep the peace at any given point. Is it just a woman in her 30s type thing? But that's what we try to do. But you're so right when it comes to things like that. Like it's why would I take advice from you? You don't know my business, you don't know me, you've never walked, a mile in my shoes, Louboutins, whatever you want to call. You've never done that. So why would you want to listen to it? Totally makes sense.
I don't think it's, uh, you can also, something I find really useful is, people, we talk a lot, human beings.
Mhm,
We've got a lot of opinions, we've got a lot of things to say,
mhm.
and I always say, say less and do more.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't always have to say exactly what you're thinking, and which means you don't always have to listen to what exactly is being said to you. So
Yeah.
I think it's essential for survival to just pick out from those parts that are actually relevant and useful to you and your journey that you're in at the moment. Anyway,
So with that in mind then, I mean, you've talked about how your heritage led you to create the product that you've got. I've got kind of two questions and they kind of mix in with each other. One, how proud must your parents be, be able to bring that in and then use that as, just this standout product that totally represents and celebrates 100% who you are. And then how did the product that you started with, has it stayed the same as the product that you ended up with? Or what was the kind of iteration process? I mean, I don't know about you, but I think when I started off as something completely different. I had about 4 different names before I ended up settling on the one that I've got. And, it just you think the first one is the best one until you get there. So I'm kinda interested to know, like, what was that growth process?
so in terms of the product, so I just started off with a really aromatic style chili oil that was going to use lemongrass, which is such a strong herb and such a strong aromatic. I wasn't sure how I was going to really infuse it and grow from there because it was really important. I feel like lemongrass is just so indicative of Thai cuisine as well as like Vietnamese and other countries around that region of Asia. So it's really important for me to figure out getting that in there. So I started off with an aromatic range, which I had made really spicy, like so spicy, even I was struggling with it to begin with. And I thought, right, I can bring that one down a bit. So reduce the chili that was in it. And so that is what made me make the original, the OG aromatic. Then we call it mild-ish, and we put ish in brackets. It's a chili product, nothing is really mild. When people come in and ask me, is there anything that's not spicy? And I'm like,
Wrong place, people.
everything is a little bit spicy. Yeah, so we've got the mild-ish, and then the OG aromatic again, but the spicier version, the original version that I had made. And then from there, excuse me, I wanted to create like more like a Thai street food, like reminded me of Bangkok, or like quick hot wok fried noodles getting tossed in massive flames in front of you, and chilies getting put all over that, and that oily, delicious, greasy pool that you get with the chopsticks when you pull that. That's chef's kiss, So that's why I came up with the white pepper and extra garlic. White pepper is such an underused
Yeah.
ingredient in people's home Asian style cooking. When you're cooking at home, often the missing ingredient in your stir fry is a little bit of white pepper. Also using 2 soy sauces, a dark soy and a light soy at the same time. And I'm telling you right now, it'll change your stir fries and how simple it is from that little home product that probably everyone has white pepper sitting in a cupboard somewhere. But the extra garlic part as well, 15 grams of garlic in one jar. And that's a lot of garlic, and it's so,
God.
so flavorful, and there's no aromatic taste to that as opposed to the original flavor. But yeah, it's super punchy. It's a dead millennial sort of flavor, I'd say that one actually.
I always feel like garlic and vanilla are like garlic is to cooking is what vanilla is to baking. There is no like limit for how much you can stick in it. Like
Absolutely agree. And I
solid.
think that people that, stick to recipes as well and they only add like two cloves, I'm like, what? If they say two, they mean six, right?
We know
100%.
vampires around here. It's such a, do you know, I I think like with like the growth in like different brands, I think it's just such a it is such a saturated industry, but the ones that do make it out of it, you know that they have the cult following, the cult classic, and it's something that, they deserve to have the place there because they are like they are so good. Yours is obviously included in that. And there's different I think for a while there was like hot sauces. I think I always keep coming back to hot sauces, but there was just like every time you went somewhere, there was like a whole shelf full. Whereas before I remember being in my early 20s and it was like Cholula or Sriracha. That was all you were
Yeah,
getting, and these two things are not comparable. So it was like, it's nuts to see now that, literally like proper homegrown talent sitting on shelves that where they deserve to be. It's so
so
cool.
yeah, I totally agree with you. And I'm really lucky now that I know like a whole bunch of hot sauce producers and their stuff is just like, I can't believe this wasn't out there before. Like it all comes from the heart. Like, my friend Liam Harry Hot or Hot is rebranded, or Jamie at Big Jim's, or Kit at Trout Black. Like these guys are just absolutely killing it when it comes to hot sauce, and they will. I'm going to say this now that they will be huge and massive because they just are so incredibly thoughtful in their ingredient process and manufacturing. It's just absolutely 10 out of 10, and you can tell that they're big fans as well. They're not just just decided to make hot sauce. Like they're big fans of the world of hot sauce and flavor and stuff, and they want to see you guys enjoying what they make, just like me, same as
Just
me. It's amazing, isn't it? But yeah, sorry, I think you asked me something before as well about my parents. I
yeah.
completely forgot to answer that.
All right.
Sorry, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
so my mum is I'm estranged from my dad, but my mum is a hilarious Thai woman with loads of attitude, and she's super fiery and powerful little Thai woman. She lives here in Scotland now, but she's often like jetting off here, there, and everywhere to Thailand all the time. I'll get a text from her, she'll just be like, I'm in Thailand, I'm okay. She's amazing. She's a business owner as well. She's done a few businesses as well, and she is a really tenacious woman, and she is super proud of what I'm doing. But like most Asian mums, they can never be fully pleased, and she is always like, "Oh, it's not really that spicy, is it?" And I'm like, "I'm not to you, Mo.
There's
They
no
can
steam
never
for it.
be."
Yes, it's not spicy enough.
You know, I mean, she has got me in some states with spicy food over the years, so I don't blame her at all. But she's always like, "What's not that hot, is it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I said, okay, mum, that's fair."
Thai spice is a different kind of spice though. Like I mean, I'm not even going to pretend that I know anything about it, but in my very low experience of eating, for that, like it's a different kind of heat. It's one that it builds and it grows and it grows. And it's not just like a boof in the face. I'm used to kind of more like Spanish, Hispanic-y, Latina type
Yeah.
like food. So that is right in the face. It's smacking you in the face, and then it just kind of goes away after a while. Whereas I feel like Thai food, it's got a build. It's not just that. I don't know, but a lot of hot things are just like boom vinegar in the face, and it's so vinegary and it's so just appallingly spicy. Whereas that, it's got like a nice gradual heat, and then before you know it, you are sweating,
Our
seams coming out
sweating,
of your.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got a good taste.
And
It's
you're
quite
totally
pleasurable.
right. There's definitely a spice tolerance that can be built with the more that you eat, obviously. And with Thai food in particular, you're looking at like salty, spicy, and sour. And all of those things, it just creates that perfect umami palette. And it's something that it's so moreish, it's so addictive. Like you're eating food, and yes, you know it's hot, but you're like, I need to keep going with this plate because it's so, so good. And even though you're sweating and you're like, it's so salty and sour and tangy, and there's all these umami flavors, you want to keep going for sure. And it's something fresh as well, like with Thai food. Um, everything's really fresh and everything tastes light, and you don't ever feel like you're overindulging with a ton of overly processed carbs or anything like that. You feel light after you're eating, and there's some of the fittest, the healthiest looking people on the planet there. So yeah, they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to the correct flavors for Asian food for sure.
I think there's a totally different side of the world, but is it Sam and Norstrat that did the salt, fat, acid, heat? That for me was like I didn't know how to cook. Nobody taught me how to cook. It was like you're thrown at the deep end. You need to survive, and you can't survive on noodles all the time. That was like instant noodles. You can't do that. You have to go and like learn how to cook. And for me, like following that process with everything, and then learning, right, okay, can add other things. You can do other, you can kind of step outside that boundary a little bit. Do you feel like that's kind of where your clientele's now starting to come in? That it's now like they're wanting to get a bit adventurous. They're wanting to see something that's a bit more interesting, a bit more something other than boring ketchup that's just not.
Yeah. I think that actually that book is, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Molly, because actually that is such a like fantastic book for someone that's learning, and for chefs, by the way, and anybody at all, because the foundations that you learn from just understanding about salt, fat, acid, and heat is so important to just getting that balance, all about balance, and just understanding the equilibrium of what it is that you're going to cook before you actually start chucking stuff together in a wok and then being devastated when you do taste it that, oh, actually, and it's actually because you've used I don't know, all extra virgin olive oil in a stir fry instead of, or you've skipped a step, or oh, I don't have that ingredient, so I'll just put this in instead, and it's actually, well, actually no, like figure out the basic foundation first, and books like that, and looking at YouTube and watching all sorts of food travel documentaries will teach you so much of the basics, and then you just stem from there.
I know, totally. I think the thing I loved about it as well was like it's not just like thinking of salt is salt, fat is butter,
Yeah.
acid is like vinegar. It's like when she was saying things about, acid can also be tomatoes, it could be this, it could be, blew my mind because I'm just sitting there like 20 year olds looking at it going, I have no idea what this means. Nobody taught me that.
Yeah.
But for that, like looking at it and going, there are different types of fats you can use, different oils, different, like butters, lards, all these different types of things. And salt isn't just salt, it could be like anchovies, it could be capers, it could be all these different things. It was like it blew my mind of just going, all right, okay, so not everything is just mince and tatties and really bold bland language, it totally blew my mind, with that kind of exposure to it. And I think like, you're totally right. It's traveling and learning about other cultures, other cuisines and stuff like that. That's how you become a good, well-rounded person and chef. Like that.
Yes, totally. I couldn't, agree with that more. And although I am not a chef, and I can always say this, my friend Rob, like from King of Feast, he's always like, being a chef is just a state of mind. He's like, you are actually a chef, and I'm like, I'm not a chef. Always like, I'm not a chef. I'm not a chef.
Can we go with like culinary scientist or something like that then or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm definitely a home cook, and
Yeah.
not I'm not in any way trained, professionally. I've never been to, cooking school or any of these places, but I know Thai food. I can say that confidently, and I know how to cook good fusion food, and it's something that I am exploring more and more at the moment. So yeah, it's a really exciting time for me and for the business for sure.
That's so cool. So what is like, I mean, I know you said you're not a chef, but you've just said you've got a professional kitchen coming up here. So what's your dream then? What is like the goal if you look at no, it doesn't need to be with like ChilliBird, just in general, like what is your dream and how can you get to achieve
Oh, I love this question.
that?
Guess we can rewind, as you would say.
Rewind.
Um, Rewind. So I guess I'd have to think about where I started from in order to explain what is coming, because I think reflection is just so important. So basically, we came here when I was about one, and over from Thailand. And my mum, she's just, I said before, but she is just like a complete complete powerful woman. She's a total entity. Like I've never seen anybody work like her. She came here, she didn't speak a lot of English, she was with my dad and then eventually they did separate and we had a really tumultuous life in that home. Things were really difficult. There was nothing easy had happened. There was a lot of violence, a lot of tricky situations, a lot of alcoholism, and that is just completely speaking in truth and a lot of challenges, as a young child. But no matter what, my mum was still figuring out cooking. People would travel all over. Thai people from little pockets of Thai communities in Scotland would come all over just to eat my mum's food. She worked like 3 jobs. She was a cleaner and she would cook and she even tried to run a little takeaway from our home kitchen when I was a little girl. And in amongst all the chaos of her life, she still wanted to do all of these things. And in doing so, she always was looking at little businesses. She was always looking at maybe I could make these little curries and sell them at the shop, or maybe I could make little tubs of this and sell them on at the butcher shops and all this type of stuff. She was always hustling. My mum was always hustling. And I have like vivid memories of just sitting on a stool as a little girl and like picking the tops off of chilies, like massive bags of hundreds and hundreds of chilies, and just picking the tops off them and putting them into little tubs and containers, and always watching my mum cook it. That's all I ever did. I would just watch her cooking all the time and learn about cooking. And no matter all the hardships, that we went through. I mean, there was times where we had nothing, not a penny, and my mum would somehow still make a meal out of nothing. And she would literally, I mean, I've watched this woman forage, in forests and things. She's gone to the sea and, done just exactly what she was taught to do back home in Thailand, but just here and using what nature and things were around her instead. And she literally made and raised kids out of nothing, me and my brother. And yeah, she really is a phenomenal person. So I guess with that in mind, I always wanted to be doing something in food. She then went on to work in a Chinese restaurant actually and cooked, and so did my brothers. Actually, my older Thai brothers, they did that as well. One of them was a sushi chef for a while as well, and I always wanted to cook, and she was always like, "No, you're not going to be in the kitchen like us. You're going to do something else." And Thai women are always, where are you going to meet a man working in the kitchen and all this type of thing? You're going to meet a husband and all this. So I was like, okay, and I ended up just sort of doing a lot of office admin style jobs, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And then I really, really do. This is all very random to share, but I really do care about people looking after people. And my auntie was a nurse for a long time, and I just thought I think I could be an all right nurse. And yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't do very well at school, so I had to go to college and do some extra grades, and that enabled me to get into university. And so I became a nurse. And ironically, my mum was like, "Okay, so you're going to go and get a good job," and I was like, "Yeah, but there's no men there. It's all women, mum. Where am I going to find a husband there?" I could have just been a chef like I wanted to be. So yeah, I was a nurse for what, like 8 years, or like I can't even recall now, maybe 8 or 9 years, and sort of moved up the ranks and became what they call a clinical coordinator, like a sort of charge nurse. But I had a really massive team, and in amongst all of these years and all of this life, I have cooked relentlessly for people in amongst, like, whether it's been at birthday parties or for events for friends or whatever. I've always offered, like, can I make a massive pot of curry for this, or can I, how can I cook and bring something to this party, or do something or other. And yeah, so I've always loved to cook and always watched my mum cooking, and then all of a sudden here I find myself having my own food business, which I never thought. And the thing that I was doing as a nurse is now virtually dwindled out completely, and I'll always be a nurse to my heart. And my soul is definitely in caring for people, and whether that's physically through a nursing degree or if it's through food, hopefully looking after people in that way is super important to me. So now here I am standing in my kitchen in the mornings, and I'm like, is this mine? Is this real? I can't believe that this is this is happening. I even now pick up a jar and I'm like, I made that. Like, I can't believe that I've made now thousands and thousands of jars, and they've passed through people's hands in their homes and gone through the post, or they've picked it up at a shop, or they've gone to meet me at a market, or say to me, "Oh, I watch you on Instagram. Oh, you're so funny." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I know." I feel mortified at myself, pure cringe alert. And yeah, and then being in the kitchen, now that I have the space, it's just opened up a whole new world to me with food. And now I really feel like with my sense, I'm quite a spiritual person as well, and I really feel that my sense is going to be more driven towards food as opposed to just producing chili oil as a product. I can see now going forward that my drive, and I really do think, going back to my mum, that I get this from her. Definitely, like I say, she's a remarkable woman, and I feel like this part of her's definitely brushed off on me a lot. And my firing off cylinders all the time. I'm constantly thinking now, like, what else can we do? How else can I feed people? That's what I think about. How else can I feed people? I'm not thinking about, right, where am I going to get that big money? I'm like, what else can I feed you guys? Like, I can't wait. I can't wait to feed you guys. So yeah, I got a lot of exciting ideas and projects on the horizon that'll hopefully all be coming into fruition this summer.
I love that. That's do you know, it just shows, like, your passion for it, like, when you're saying, you'll always be a nurse, but the way that you've centered around that, "How can I feed people? How can I take care of them? How can I look after them?" It's such a I I've never obviously talked about this on this podcast before, but we talk a lot, and especially Scotland, and I know what happens in, communities all over the globe, but it's about the soup pot. It's that one soup pot that, it's a whole community of majority women that are there to look after people. We are there, we have that nurturing. I'm not saying getting into the whole sort of traditional thing, because personally I
Yeah.
don't agree to that, but it is that nurturing basis of it around, communities are born around a soup pot, whether that's a soup pot in Scotland, whether that's a soup pot in Thailand, whether that's, wherever. And you have that nature, and it's hearing the passion coming out of you. Like, we've known each other for 40 minutes and 22 seconds, and I'm so proud of you. Do you know that? Like, I just feel that pride, and you just want to be like, "Go on, girl, go do it." Like, you just want you to do so well, and
Thank you
that's
so much.
such
That's so
your
kind.
nature. Honestly, it's such a beautiful and gorgeous nature to have, having that, wanting to nurture people and take care of it, and whether in whatever way you can, whether it was through nursing or getting people around a dinner table, because that's, for me, I think that's one of the most important things ever. So
Yeah, I think it's essential. Like, community is what will drive you forward, and having the right people, like what I said earlier about, not listening to the opinions of people you don't respect. Like, if you've got the people that you respect sitting around your table, like, think about your table as it's invite only. The people that sit there are the people that you care about the most, and that you want to take care of, and that you want to feed, nourish, and nurture, and love, and show them that love and kindness. And whether or not they sit down and they go, "Oh, that was great," and they've eaten it in 2 seconds, it doesn't matter. Like, it's, you've stay with them with your own integrity. Integrity is really important to me as a word. It's a mantra that I think about every day. Staying true to yourself and holding yourself and no one else, just yourself, to high standard, and sticking to your own sets of morals and principles, where you can, being selfless and giving, obviously, but it's feeding people and being, a woman in a community. It is natural, it is nature, and men obviously do have their roles in taking care of each other as well. And it's so beautiful when we come together as a collective. There's really nothing that we can't do, and we will continue to elevate and lift each other up together. So yeah, it's an exciting time for sure.
love that. So I need to ask then, we've got the kitchen, we've got ChilliBird. What's coming up for you? What's next?
Yeah, so I have got a little side meal prep company that I do with my local gym. So the gym that I go to train MMA and jiu-jitsu, both are really important to me. I found these sports when I was going through a hard time, like a lot of people sort of do, by the way, with health and fitness. And yes, I have even recently competed in my first jiu-jitsu competition,
Nice.
and I actually won gold. It was a really, really proud moment for me. So
That's so cool.
it was crazy. So yeah, the sport itself is super important to me. I think it's really important for women to find something. By the way, combat sports is essential for women to learn. So I have a really close tie to my gym and the owner there, my good friend Stephen Harris. We have worked together and sort of came up with how could I, as somebody that's health conscious and can cook sort of these Asian flavors. He is also well traveled, been to Thailand many times. How can I bring those flavors into the gym? So I thought about doing some little meal prep. So I do that with Goliath Kitchen, and I want to see that grow and expand. Healthy Asian style meal prep options available at our gym. So that's a little branch that I carry out every now and then. And I also have a really exciting project which will be getting spoken about a little bit more with Rob Casson from the King of Feasts. Him and I are great friends, and we are going to be working together on a project called the Supper Club, which we're hoping we will be bringing together my Thai flavors and his experience with making crazy good burgers and chicken burgers and these things together. I mean, we had a little test with some friends around for some recipe tests the other day, and it was just it completely reinvigorated my spark for cooking again. So I can't wait to hopefully see us do a little bit of catering here and there and do some pop-ups and invite people over for this I keep saying the supper club. So it's spelled SUPHA.
Right,
And this
okay.
is how I know this is fate because my mother's surname in Thai is Supari, which is Supharee. So ironically, we wanted to start a supper club, and there was my mother's Thai name just there ready
Brilliant.
for us to
That is
use.
brilliant.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's a nice homage to her. She actually doesn't know this yet. She'll maybe hear this, and I will tell her she's in Thailand at the moment. Yeah, I want to like pay homage to my mother and all the Thai flavors that she's taught me to cook over the years. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got going on in the pipeline, and obviously seeing the expansion of the ChilliBird product, and hopefully within the next few years, look at how we can ship to Europe. I get asked questions about this all the time, shipping out with the UK and potentially seeing about going through accreditations in order to get it approved to get it into larger retailers. So lots on the horizon for me.
Amazing. Do you know, you're just such a badass. Do you know that? You really are. Like, honestly, like it's you just get that energy from someone that just doesn't take no for an answer. Like you said, is gonna go all the way through it, like kick ass while doing it, man. Jesus.
Thank you
It's
so much. Yeah, I'm
amazing.
always like, right, what else can I fit on the plate? And the plate's already overflowing. You're like trying to raise a kid and do everything right with the kid, and then
Right.
you're trying to run a house, and you're also trying to run like what now, like 200 businesses somehow in one go, and then
No, but
also
you take
find
it.
time to go and like train at the gym so that you keep your brain ticking over, so you're not going crazy and eat. Oh yeah, and don't forget to eat while you're at it. And
Then drink like 4,000 liters of water at the same time.
oh
Like,
yeah, I can't even remember. Every time I have a glass of water, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that. I'm a human.
but you've totally like you can see that the impact of how you were brought up has definitely gave you that ethic to do it. I've had a similar background, and like you saying that watching your mum work so many different jobs just to put food on the table is it gives you that, like you said, there is no option, or like your friend said, sorry, like there's no option to give up. Like you didn't come this far just to come this far. You just need to keep going. And for you, I
Absolutely.
mean, look at that. I mean, that's incredible. Like I'm sitting here with
Thank
this
you.
pure smile on my face because it's
Thank you
just
so
such a
much.
cool
Oh, that's so
story.
kind,
Like
lovely.
it's amazing. And you did tell me it was going to be a ride, and it's definitely a ride. Like it's amazing.
So I see you're in for a treat.
So we've got that coming up. Where can people find you apart from everywhere? But where can people find you? Where if we're looking for ChilliBird and then we're looking to see some of your content, where can we find you?
So we have usually an online batch drop at the end of each month. So we've actually pushed that to this week. So we will be doing an online batch drop this Friday, which is the 3rd of July at 9:30 on the website, which is www.chillibird.co.uk. We'll release a batch of all our chili oil products on the website. You can find me on Instagram at chillibird.co.uk. And you can also find me on my personal Instagram where I post lots of things about like training and being a parent and running the business things on there as well. And I've just updated that page now to Jen the Bird with a U, which I think is really funny. So yeah, and you can find me on my website, which has recently been updated to such a beautiful standard by my friend Andy at Nocturne Studio. And you'll find all of our stockists on there, and you can learn a little bit about our story. So I would definitely recommend having a wee look through the website and checking it out and learning a little bit more about where you can find ChilliBird. And you can contact me on there as well, and through Instagram, of course.
Amazing. And one last thing to tell anybody that is watching, if you could give any piece of advice to anyone, it doesn't need to be somebody starting a business, just anything that you think, if you could sum up your whole journey in one word that could inspire somebody, what do you think it would be? I know it's
In
a tough
one
one.
word, I think for me right now, the word that's come to mind is courage. I think that it is essential to find courage in yourself, to listen to the people around you that are telling you to keep going. They have belief in you. They believe that you're courageous and that you can not just keep going, but can do even more than what you just think you're capable of. There's just so much more. The potential is infinite. You know, everything is infinite. Money out there. There's enough out there for everyone. There's enough opportunity out there for you all. Yes, our circumstances are all different from the baseline, but it takes courage to get up and keep going and find what you're really passionate about. And I would say as well, just start. Like people ask me, what did you do? How did you, and I didn't have a plan. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's always going to work out. You know, I'm certainly not, you know, the richest woman on earth. You know, I've just made chili oil. That's all. But just start. If you don't just start, you're never going to know. So have courage in yourself, have belief, have faith. Don't hold out for hope. Don't hope that things are going to work out. Don't say, you know, oh, I hope that this is going to go well. I hope it, have faith it will, you know, take a leap of faith in yourself and be courageous because no one else is going to do that for you, for sure.
That's that's absolutely just sums up your journey and sums up so many people's journeys as well. So amazing. I can't believe that's been nearly an hour that we've been
Goodness.
chatting here. It's been incredible. Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate that. I loved having a sit down with you. That was the end of the first interview of WYND. Thank you so much, Jen, and hope we see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.